Disclaimer. We're not qualified to speak on any of these topics or any topics in general. Our thoughts and opinions are our own and only reflect the thoughts and opinions at the time we're stating, and sometimes not even then. So don't go making a statue for us and ripping down 30 years when you find a cat as a cat, or I eat my weight in steak annually. Our views do not represent those of any of the entities we're affiliated with, and commentary is satirical to describe our commentary if everyone else were as honest as us. Ever since we decided to expand the definition of literal figurative, as people who clearly now accepted that facts are advertising, opinions aren't nearly as authentic as the body part often associated, and words are just a combination of sounds intended to entertain us or prompt us to buy something, be that a product, a concept, or a taco. With that said, we're obviously from the future, and we're here to help the future race cross the finish line. Just kidding. We're here to make your stay on Earth more enjoyable. Stop taking everything so seriously. It's only life, after all.
You've got pod. You've got pod.
Welcome back to another week. For those of you who have joined the visual component, there are some photos, but
what?
Again,
Do you believe in life after love?
What
am I supposed to do?
There we go. My cultural concept for
Sit
Cher
around
is
and
the
wait
Cher
for
doll.
you. What?
The Cher doll.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's Jack Cher doll from
Oh,
Greatest.
yeah.
So you're
the
doing a
people.
fantastic impression.
How am I doing? So we have these new mics, okay? So I'm just
we've
trying
got
to...
new mics, so
I'm trying to
if
get
you can
used to it.
hear us.
I'm a ways off because I've been told I'm boisterous and shrill.
Yeah, do you wanna try to
get
speaking
like a little bit
closer? Then
Delilah.
love someone tonight.
Okay. Love some. How's that? Is that better?
That's better.
My hair grew quite a bit
And
since
dark.
last week. It's dark.
Yeah.
But that's because it is the Sonny and Cher week.
It is, yeah. I don't often look like I'm trying to represent like a floral shop walking about. Though I don't dislike it.
No, I like it on
Yeah.
you. I think it's adorable.
Yeah, it's a unique look.
I'm digging it. What do you think about this though?
I like it because you look like you could trick people into thinking you're not you.
Ooh, that's good
So
to
like
know.
I like the fact that the wig
This is how I can escape my
not for
public
you,
finally.
Kristen Carroll edition.
Yeah, it
Like,
is.
Kristen Carroll's
I
not
thought
for
I'd keep
you.
like the Cher on a little bit longer. It is quite warm. I don't know how the queens do this.
Right,
Ooh.
like, oh boy, because I had a wig on earlier, and that's why my hair looks like this. This isn't just because I wanted to look disheveled today. And boy, did it get sweaty real quick. And my hair is not, like, it's long enough for hair, but it is not wig long.
No.
And the wig just got immediately, I'm gonna say everyone's least favorite word, it got moist. Do not be fooled. We did not add a sound effect board. That's all done by our mouth. So get ready for more. Pew, pew, pew.
Yeah, I mean, we're like beatboxes from way back. Like,
Except you wouldn't want to see us in an 80s movie.
I want to be like on Good Burger though. That's 90s, right? Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
I'm proud of you. You actually got it right that time. Usually there's some combo of words.
Listen, I've been trying to get on the Brady Bunch since I was born, and like, they don't know how to tell me they've stopped filming. I was like, you brought on Oliver, why can't you bring on me? But anyway.
Well, and particularly, I just want to point out, if anyone is curious who the most hated television character is, it's apparently overwhelmingly Cousin Oliver.
Is it?
Yeah, he has like the title for like most hated television character.
Huh.
And I was like, that's not fair.
That's
It's not his
weird.
fault. He was a child.
I dislike a lot of television characters more than Cousin Oliver. But
Yeah.
you know why? Because everybody was probably jealous that they weren't Cousin Oliver like I was, except I didn't understand syndication.
Stay tuned for apparently our upcoming blog where we have you rank television characters.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Welcome back, everybody. A lot has happened.
In the 1
There's
week.
new microphones. We traveled back to the 60s and 70s, and if you see some of the outtake looks even into the 80s, if you believe in life after love, you might not after you see our photos. But now we're ready to jump into the news you can't use. And boy, this week gave us no shortage of
What
news
do you
we
have
could use.
for us?
I have so much, but I would like to start with some fat shaming. Courtesy of Korea, obviously North Korea. And there was an article that came up on how plump, well-dressed daughter of Kim Jong-un is upsetting North Koreans. So, a little bit interesting. I don't know if you have had any friends that were from certain countries in Asia. It really depends. It depends where in Asia, but I would say that that is a region of the world that is more comfortable with telling people they need to lose weight than other regions of the world. I guess I can put it that way. But what I would like to say is, how are they mad at her? Have they seen Kim Jong-un? Seriously.
Right. That's a chunky man.
Seriously.
You're telling me that's what upsets them? Like,
Yeah,
there's
well.
so many things in the world, and they've chosen one of their own citizens.
Well, I think in fairness, they don't know the things in the world.
That's fair.
Because they don't have access to
But
information.
I was like, you're telling me you've heard Miley Cyrus's Flowers, and that doesn't upset you more? If I hear that song one more time, I'm gonna lose it.
I'm going to guess they have not. I have some equally unimpressive news, but I'd love to know if you have anything you'd like to sandwich between my useless segments.
You know that I love a good sort of foil to the things you say. You're always like, hey, have you heard about mortuary science or, I don't know, strychnine poisoning? And I'm always like,
You make me
this-
sound so fun, and you're not
It is
wrong.
really like a barrel of laughs, but unfortunately,
have I
that
told
barrel-
you about Leicester, Massachusetts?
I was going to say, stay tuned for our separate podcast,
Yeah.
The History
That'll
of
be
Leicester.
like Not For You After Hours. We'd like to tell you about small town history of the United States.
You can pay for that one on our Patreon.
Absolutely.
So have you heard about this, I don't even know what to call it, like Uber Eats bombing? So there's this neighborhood in Los Angeles that is being tormented by anonymous Uber Eats deliveries.
Okay, so it's like when you swat somebody.
Right. But
Do our listeners know what swatting is?
do you know it's like, I'm impressed
I
that you know
absolutely
what
do. Swatting is when gamers are very naughty and they want to like shut somebody down and disrespected them. So they show them like, listen, I can have the police come to your house and drop a dime on you because I can find your IP address and figure out exactly where you are playing your stupid little games, and call them and say like, hey, there's somebody here who has like an automatic rifle and they're going to shoot up the house. You need to go there, and it sends actually a SWAT team. But so swatting can be that, or it might be sending like 3,000 pizzas to somebody's house or whatever. But it's just basically like what gamers do for negging with like varying results and danger levels.
Well done.
Thank you.
That's an awareness. That's like a modern term. That's why I was like, hold the phone.
Oh,
How
it was
is this
it
connected
was
for
a
you?
modern term.
Yeah.
Okay, boomer. Did I use that wrong?
I was gonna say. I mean, I like that. I think I get called boomer more frequently than anyone in this room, and no one is a boomer in this room. But no, it's a whole neighborhood that's being tormented by this anonymous Uber Eats. The drivers are being tipped well, but these deliveries are showing up to like 13 times a day at different houses, and Uber Eats is currently investigating because technically what they've done is not illegal, but it's to the point where so much food is coming each time a new delivery shows up in this
What do we know
neighborhood.
about this neighborhood? Is it like a disadvantaged area?
It doesn't feel so. It's in Rangeview Avenue, so the families are fairly, middle class. So there's no it's not like somebody who's like, I'm gonna do this.
It's not a
chaotic
Robin
thing.
Hood.
Right. It's not like
Unless somebody in that area was wronged by whoever is paying for this.
I am thinking it might be a spite thing.
I feel like how could
Like-
it not be?
I was wondering, and I couldn't find the information on this. I was wondering if it was like one of those communities where like someone painted their house the wrong color, the door the wrong color, and then they moved away, and they're like, I'm gonna show them.
I feel like that would happen maybe in the South, but I don't know that would happen.
It's very odd for like Los Angeles, to the fact that like the food comes all times of day, so like people are often being woken up at like 3 a.m. by just random food deliveries, and it's ranged from places like Taco Bell, McDonald's, Starbucks. So there's not
Is
even
it all Uber Eats?
It's all Uber Eats. So Uber Eats is currently investigating, but they're having a hard time tracking it down because technically it's just being sent to these random addresses.
Do we think it's out of the realm of possibility that Uber would like spike their own numbers with fake orders to report like earnings, and then they accidentally did it too much over one area?
Oh, so you're thinking it's like, hey, look how successful
I'm not
we
really
are.
thinking that.
Yeah.
I'm starting a rumor, but like,
Right. Stay tuned. This
it's
is the
because
rumor
Uber.
hub.
I mean, Uber has done like strange things over time to kind of expand their influence and report their numbers, and it's kind of like faking your quarterly earnings, but you need to use somebody's credit card number. So that's what I feel like. If we can track the payment down, we could track down.
It is funny that Uber Eats is like, we're having a hard time getting to the bottom of this. I'm like, how are you having a hard time getting
I'd
to the
like
bottom?
to say it's not DoorDash, it's not Grubhub, it's not Postmates this is happening, it's Uber Eats.
Right.
And
right,
so
the least popular of the food delivery apps.
yeah,
'Cause
and
I
the most
used Uber
evil
Eats
of
once.
the gig economy, I would probably say, is Uber. So maybe it's just that. I mean, I can't wait to find out more.
Yeah, I look forward to having like an update similar to how with the Dorothy dress.
If you have received a fake pizza, you might be entitled to damages. Call
Also,
Morgan and Morgan.
Please let us know. Reach out to us at nobody@notforyoupod.com.
Oh yes,
We'd love to
we
hear
will send
about
down our
your
crack investigative team.
upwards of 13 orders a day
Yeah.
from weird restaurants. So, a 29-year-old New Brunswick, New Jersey woman posed as a teen student because she was lonely.
Okay.
And I'll
Was
explain
she
the
trying to
story
like
first.
attract a teacher?
No,
Hmm.
she had really positive memories of high school and has not enjoyed adulthood as much and just wanted to go back to, the quote is, a place of safety and welcoming and an environment that she looks back on fondly. And I guess I was twofold. I felt very sad for this woman, and they've said, they're likely going to probably dismiss these charges.
I would hope so. But how do we know she's not on like deep cover for 21 Jump Street?
She's a South Korean citizen who came by herself when she was 16 and has just kind of stayed. And I can understand like wanting to that, but
I'm very concerned about the millennials. I'm very concerned.
That's the takeaway here.
That's my
I'm
takeaway.
also very concerned, but I felt a little bit sad for her because my thought is, that was a safe space for her. High school was not a safe space for me, so I'm like trying to empathize with the fact that this woman at 29 wanted to go back to being 16 when I'm not saying that I was not that 13 going on 30 moment of being like, I want to be 30. But if you ask me like what time in my life could I replay, because this woman went on to college, she earned her degree from, I believe, Rutgers in 2019. So she's gone on to do other things with her life. And, if you were to ask me, like, if you could go back in a non sort of illegal way and relive a swath of your life, maybe college. But I've liked my life thus far. Like I liked my late 20s. I'm liking my early 30s, and I feel bad in a genuine way that she hasn't felt that safety or comfort in close to 15.
Yeah, it doesn't
years.
sound like she's not hurting anybody.
Yeah, right. And that's my thought is like,
maybe she just likes learning. There's like lifetime students too.
Well,
like,
and I thought about that. I was like, I at the age of nearly 34, I was like, could I pass as a high school student? Maybe once upon a time, the like yarmulke of shame up top is making that a little bit
you
more
have
difficult.
like guidance counselor vibes though.
I do. I feel like I have a combo of like that young guidance counselor, or like I feel like I could, if I were more religious, I could run like a youth group. Like I look like someone who'd
definitely
be like,
run a
like
youth
I feel
group.
like I'd be like youth pastor Kato.
Definitely.
Like some kids would
Like
call me
you are
that.
like
Yeah.
one pair of Crocs away from that.
Yeah, I feel like I'm an acoustic
my
guitar
God.
and Crocs away from
Yes.
like youth pastor Kato. It came up in my news, and they're gonna try and get her on like submitting false documents, which feels like a non-issue of a crime. Like there's so many other big things out there, but she wasn't trying to do anything nefarious. She just like wanted to text with
Yeah, I literally did everything I could to avoid as much high school as I possibly could, and I
Yeah.
did a great job. Great job. I really saw very little of high school.
I got
remember
early
even less.
accepted to my college of choice, and I still went at the
I
normal
didn't
time.
have a college of choice.
It's the college of life, or I guess
Yeah.
at least you're not the people on Facebook, and this is a direct call out to people on the internet.
We're talking to you people on the internet.
People of the internet who listen to our pod. School of the Hard Knocks, once you're past the age of 19, is not a school you can attend on Facebook.
no.
Change it. Just
Shoot.
don't say that you went to school of the Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hard knock life. Yeah. So I need a Daddy Warbucks though. So this is like, it's been an interesting week for our home state of New Hampshire.
Oh,
Okay.
has it?
So yes, a vote to ban racial profiling by police officers barely passed with one vote this week, which sounds really horrible, except for the deal was the dissenters said, well, there's already federal precautions that are there, so this is just like a rule of semantics, so it's not necessary. Also, it's kind of like demeaning to police officers because they don't racially profile in this state. So,
Right. Is it possible to do so?
right. Well, yeah, that's another question. So it was just like quite a headline to see. But when I saw that headline, I also saw that marijuana is in. So that's great. Yeah.
That's an update for us that is
Yes.
like odd for this state.
Yeah, because the governor, Kristen and Kato, had promised to veto everything, but they voted to overturn the veto to bring legalized marijuana into the state beyond medicinal. But they did say no to LSD and I forget what's the other one. I've done too much of it. Oh, mushrooms or other hallucinogens. Just kidding, Mom.
So marijuana is in.
Marijuana is in. Psychedelics are next. Look at his shirt.
Does this mean we're gonna enter a foray into the recreational market and open our own dispensaries?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where this heads, because what are we going to do? Just legalize it and not make money off it? We're not that stupid.
That sounds very on brand for New Hampshire. That's why I wanted to ask. This is a great update for us because you have all those domains. So I'm so excited for CFO420.com.
I do. I have a lot of domains that are associated.
LMC Green or if LMC 420. So I'm very excited.
Passonthesavings.com.
I'm just ready for the part of me that's always be closing is yes.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right, baby.
So this
ABC.
podcast is not sponsored by the dispensary we likely opened in response to this.
But it will be. And also, we had some very important legislature bringing back cursive and multiplication tables because, as it turns out, the people that we are putting through our school systems don't know how to live. And so now we're trying to give them life skills like how do you add what a tip is? How do you determine oh gosh, can I afford this grocery? So we're you know what? Now that you are graduating from high school, we think we should tell you these things. So good for us. We're going to do that. And declawing cats has been outlawed.
Which is fantastic because I find that to be one of the more sort of egregious things that we do because it's equivalent to cutting off your knuckle as a person. That's what that means.
Is it circumcision?
I think that circumcision, I mean, I can't speak to it, but I feel if you were to ask me what I would prefer to have removed, I want to keep my knuckle because that's part of my finger.
So it was a great week for not having racism and for marijuana and for cursive and
doesn't have
multiplication.
This big a week.
And there was a pretty anti-trans bill that was coming forward, and they just said, nope, we're not doing this. And it was we're not even looking at this right now. And that was a vote of 350 to 50. So
well done.
Yeah, so they're just nope, we're not even talking about that. So good job, New Hampshire. I wish the rest of the country could learn from you because we've had some other weird things there, which of course I can go on, but do you have anything you want to share before I bore everybody with my cat stories for the rest of the country?
No, please share your cat story.
This week around the country, other crazy things, of course, happened. There was a wild cat roaming the streets of Cincinnati, found with cocaine in its system. So not just cocaine bear, we have cocaine cat. And I was like, oh, that must have been one hell of a WKRP party.
And I'm the boomer? I'm the boomer? For those of you who don't know,
get it.
This pod is not sponsored by WKRP.
A Florida woman, shockingly, repeatedly stabbed her sister with an EpiPen because she said her sister was allergic to drunks.
That's such a waste of an EpiPen, but it's so funny.
It's not, because I'm laughing.
Right. My question there would be, is it worth $600 of giggles? And because it's not mine, yes.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely
it was. Exactly.
Worth $600 of giggles.
And then, of course, Joseph Brown, also in Florida, how odd, was arrested for stealing his fiance's engagement ring to give to his other girlfriend who knew him by a different name.
Wow.
So I can't wait to find out how many of you are also dating him. And then also, Florida news, Clearwater Mayor Frank Hibbard got up in the middle of a city council meeting earlier this week and said, I'm just not the one to do this anymore.
I'm good. I'm good.
He was mayor. He'd been mayor for a couple years recently, but before that he was mayor from the mid-2000s into 2013. He has never quit a thing in his life. His wife, what he called her, was what, are you kidding? But he was just they're just spending money like crazy. There's no way that the town can recover from this. So he's I think you are all first-rate people. I think we just have different beliefs about things. And he packed him in the middle of the meeting and just left.
That's so good.
I know, I love it.
Write that.
I love it. I'm
that's some
good for
Arrested
you.
Development nonsense.
I would never be a mayor. It seems like a lot of things I don't want to do. But if I were, I would have definitely walked out of a meeting.
I appreciate the idea of hey, I don't see a way that we can meet in the middle, and
he was nice to them.
Right. Hey, this just isn't a fit anymore. Congratulations, I'm
yes.
done. Yeah.
But I love that because I think, you know what? I bet now the town's probably going to look a little bit closer and be well, what was he talking about? Because we trusted him. We put him, in position as our mayor. So what are they doing with this money? And I think that's great.
Well done, Mayor Frank Hibbard.
Yeah. So, Florida gets it right sometimes too.
Well, I mean, it's about a balance. There's a ratio
right? There. So that is my cup overfloweth with news you can't use this week.
All right. So do we want to dive in? My favorite to play with you, the fill in the blank. I've got a 2 blank to fill in this time. So we're going to do
this game?
We're going to do the what and the where. So 82-year-old blank is world's oldest blank.
Oh dear. I mean, because normally I would think like human, but no. And then where would it be the world's oldest? What would be happening right now is it a ficus tree.
So I'll give you a hint. It is a living. This thing is alive.
Mm-hmm.
It is not of the flora or fauna variety.
Oh, okay. And it's not a human. It's maybe.
Well, do we count as fauna? Do we make if we count as fauna? It's in the fauna.
I don't
variety.
think
So
we do.
It is a people.
It's a people.
It is a people.
Oh.
82-year-old blank
Okay.
becomes world's oldest blank.
Okay. And is the blank a description of where this person hails from?
Yeah,
Or-
it's
Like
location.
82-year-old like person from
blank,
Sicily
blank, yeah,
becomes
yeah.
the world's oldest like
exactly.
marijuana
Yep,
grower or
exactly.
something like
And
that.
it's not that, but that's such a great.
82-year-old San Diegoan becomes world's oldest DJ.
You know, same energy. 82-year-old Virginia woman is world's oldest female hockey player.
Yeah, I love it.
And so the thing that I love about this is that you hear like world's oldest hockey player. So she did not get her start playing hockey, and not like a Grandma Moses says, but she didn't start playing hockey until 35. She got her start as a figure skater, and she thought, you know what, I want to give this a try. So she started playing hockey at 35, and she continued to do so for at least 10 years. And then, you know, as she was approaching closer to 50, they were like, you know, you're getting a little bit slow. So that's 82-year-old, I loved her name too, Linda Sinrod.
Yeah, but you said she's getting slow, but she's still playing.
So she took a very brief break, and then she realized that there was a Guinness
Steroids.
World Record.
Oh.
So
Guinness,
she was
sorry.
like, so when she was in her 70s, she was still closer to it. So she's like, I'm going to keep playing. So she started this she plays in this, like, it's a low impact league. They're not like slamming each other.
Oh, I'm familiar. So my friend Marion Shevers, and I'm going to call her out because, yeah, girl, you're amazing. She's been in I don't want to call it seniors hockey league, so Red Hat Society.
Perfect. That's a very nice way to say that.
Let's call it the Third Act Hockey League.
Perfect.
But
I love
that's the whole deal.
Yeah.
Is they play people that are of or near or adjacent to retirement
Exactly.
age, and they're in this league, but they are amazing.
Yeah.
Like they're actually incredibly good. Now these people are in the Boston area, so obviously they're better than New Jersey. Hello, but I'm sure they do okay too. Or Virginia. Oh, even worse. That's fine. I mean, it's the South. What do they know from hockey?
The only good thing to come out of Virginia is
Yeah,
that
but
song
I've always
about
thought
Virginia.
that was so awesome is that, like, there's these women that are, like, they stay in shape and they're doing, like, not only something that's, like, great community and a team sport, but it's, like, it's badass.
Right. It's incredibly
I think
cool
it's
to
amazing.
Because my
I
dad
love
had to give,
that.
and I'm calling out my dad. Sorry, Dad. I
Yeah.
love you. He had to give up hockey as he was approaching, like, his 50s because, you know, it just became really hard to continue
Also,
to
I
do.
don't know if you were aware that things hurt more for men than women.
Well, I mean, I know that every single time I get a cold, I'm just like, I'm done. The world is ending. So, I
Yeah,
mean, women,
so,
like,
I
your
mean,
life is rough. Like, you
I
don't have
know.
pockets and you keep the, society
Yeah.
moving.
I know.
But, like, whatever. I get a cold and it's the end of the
Yeah.
world. But the fact that she's 82 and the fact that once she realized what the age was, because when she was in her 70s, the age was lower, and then someone beat it, and she was like, well, I really want to beat it now. And she looks forward to keep defending her title for
Okay.
as long as she can.
Marion, I'm calling you out right now. You have a long way to go to beat this, but I'm putting my money on you, girl. I think we need to go see her play.
I would love to
A
go
very
see her
special,
play.
not for you
A very
podcast.
special.
We're gonna bring her on this
on-site,
show.
not
Oh
for you.
yeah, we got to do that, right?
Yeah.
I'd love to see this. This is
I would
amazing.
love. I just
that.
love to see.
That's awesome.
And this is very on brand. I just love to see women kicking ass. I feel like, and I heard this quote once.
That's all we do.
Is like, I heard the quote once that said, I wish I saw more women in fiction that were as interesting as the women I knew in real life. Whereas this quote said, I've never met a man who in real life is as interesting as the men I read about in fiction.
Yes.
And I was like, I kind
Pro
of agree with
tip:
that.
read female authors. Okay.
Well, yeah. The more
But
of the
also
story,
that.
read more and
I
don't
love that.
take. Don't
That was
take,
an awesome story.
yeah.
We're gonna go see her. What's her name again?
Her
Give
name
a shout
is,
out to her.
Her name is Linda Sinrod.
Linda
I was like,
Sinrod, we love you.
Sinrod,
We're
yeah.
coming to find you, Linda. We're
Yeah.
gonna make the t-shirts. I hope you like them, but if not, it's not for you. In our final segment, we have upgraded our broken box to
Our topic roulette
this
box.
fancy thing.
Would you like to take
Yeah.
a grab at that?
Okay, I'll take a
Okay.
grab. Okay. If you could eliminate one state, what would it be and why?
Ooh.
And this is work because obviously I go to like, well, is this state hunger? So these are
Right, we mean
these are U.S. states and not
United
territories.
States,
Is that correct?
yeah.
Like U.S. states.
Yeah, I
not
think to make it easier,
Uh-huh.
U.S. states, not the state of like confusion.
Okay. All right.
Do you want to go first?
I do. I was going to say Maine, and I feel bad about this because I love Maine, but I feel like the U.S. isn't probably doing Maine any favors. They might be better if we just gave them back to Canada. Not that they were ever part of Canada, but like close
But
enough.
just take it.
Yeah, because it's beautiful coastline, but they've been a death spiral forever.
Mm.
And I've tried to honestly work with the state, I really have, about keeping more, youth there and growing industry and that kind of thing. And they're just not there for it. But there's so much to offer, not to mention, just in tourism and travel and beauty and all that. But there's a lot there, and I think that they might need like a new mama. Yeah.
I think that's fair.
And so I'm actually saying it out of love because I think they might be better off in Canada.
I like that because I also think it's a decent trade-off of like, we took Alaska, you can have this, like on the
Yeah.
other side. I have sort of two that I approach from, like, one of them is from just like a logistics standpoint, and one of them, it doesn't solve the problem. So I was going to originally say Hawaii because I feel like what we did is we went to like, it's like the equivalent of going to your neighbor's pool and claiming that this is yours now, and
sure.
just the pool. But I was like, I think
That's also like civilization.
probably
though.
more
Yeah.
complicated. And then my other thought was like Connecticut.
Connecticut.
But I just want like Connecticut. Like what I want to have happen is I want to shove
Now,
Connecticut out.
Don't we
and
need their money though?
I want to just close the gap.
Close the gap.
I just
And
want
want
to
to make it New York and Rhode
Well,
Island or
So my thought is this:
Massachusetts?
is I just want to be able to just take that chunk of I want to take the chunk of land out and push the country together that cuts
Are
Connecticut.
you mad at Connecticut because they have money?
I'm mad at Connecticut because the distance it takes to get from when you leave Massachusetts and when you get to New York feels interminable.
It is.
Is that drive? And I went to school in Connecticut. I have very fond
Not to
memories
mention they
in
have
Connecticut.
terrible exits.
And here's the thing: no one in that
If
state
you
can
if
drive.
you have to use a restroom, like God bless you, like
Yeah.
you're not gonna find one of those.
It's not quite New York and it's not quite New England, so it's this weird gray area that it doesn't know what it wants to be. And I was
But I
just
want their
like,
tax revenue though. I feel like it would be really dumb to get rid of that tax revenue. Like, right? There's a lot of money there.
I just think
Do
that
I
we
want
should just
that?
shove it out, though. Just shove it out, so that way it's you get to the end of Massachusetts, and then New York is right there.
What if we were just to move like New York City to Connecticut? That'd be so much more
Let's
convenient
just
for
move.
me.
Yeah, let's just move New York up a little bit.
All right, I'll second that
Yeah.
motion.
Okay,
All
perfect.
right, it carries. And then, of course, our final segment of the show.
Yeah, pew, pew, pew,
Yeah.
The Judy Greer update.
Oh, yeah. What do you have on Judy? Obviously,
So-
I left a pod hanger last week. But what do you have?
You know that I love a good article title.
Wait a minute. Before we get to this, shouldn't we address my new boyfriend?
Do you have a new boyfriend?
Well, Cher does. So,
Cher has a new boyfriend.
Cher has a new boyfriend who's 40 years younger than her.
Well done.
I know! Oh, no!
How old is she? I know that we never discussed a lady's age.
Well,
but
she's
if-
obviously 43, so he's 3.
Is this gentleman closer to my age, or are we talking?
Yeah, he's
like-
between our ages.
Okay.
He's a producer
Okay.
and very handsome fellow. And yeah, she's gonna ride if the wheels fall off. And I bet he's the one who can't keep up, is what I bet.
Oh, I 100% agree with you.
Mhm.
Is that like my guess is that Cher is probably, to use a favorite like boomer word, like a spitfire. I bet you she's.
Oh,
a
I bet
spitfire.
she is.
Yeah.
I bet she is.
I bet she.
Babe.
She's a hoot. She's a hoot.
She's gonna be
Yeah.
a hoot. Yeah. So
All the
I
favorite old
didn't
words.
want to like close out without at least talking about my new love,
Well,
my new boo.
This slow clap. It's for you,
Mhm.
Cher. Well done.
There you go, Cher.
Yeah.
We're sharing in your enjoyment. Okay, so let's get back to
Yeah.
Judy.
So you know that I love a good.
Judy.
I love a good article title, and I love even more when it features Judy Greer.
Yeah.
So this is a movie web article title called 12 Movies That Totally Wasted Judy Greer. And I'm like,
Oh my
I'm
God.
so glad we're at this point in history where we're addressing
Mhm.
it. And again, just to kind of, we won't go through all
Wait a minute.
12.
Just real. Is
Yeah.
there a Judy Greer fan club? And if not, why don't we start one? 'Cause
I
that would
think
be
that, yeah.
kind
please
of
let
like
us know.
that's as creepy as I've ever wanted to
Do
be.
you want
That
to
sounds
join
fun.
our Judy
Yeah.
Greer fan club? You can send us an email at Judy Greer
Yeah.
fan club at notforyoupod.com.
Yeah, and if we can think of a longer email address, we will let you know that after.
We can figure out her middle name and make it Judy Blank Greer.
Yeah. I think it's Anne, but I made that up.
It does sound like it would
It
be
sounds
Anne,
right though, right?
Stay tuned. We'll update you next week on Judy Greer's middle name.
Mm.
But I liked just, and ultimately, it's 12 movies that she's been in, and again, we've discussed.
I don't know how the queens do this. I'm not even kidding. Like, I have to have a Billy Idol moment right here.
Yeah, I really enjoy the hair reveal. The hair reveal is nicer than you'd think.
Oh my god, right?
It's also a strong brow. It's a strong
brow. Oh, that, yeah.
It's a strong brow today.
Oh, yeah.
It's really
Maybe
serving. It's serving Cruella DeVille realness.
Mm-hmm.
But so we won't go through all 12. We'll share the article. But as expected, number 12 was Jawbreaker. We'll go just to number 6 because I keep on some of these I was like, I didn't even know she was in this. It says like Ant-Man. I was like, I didn't know you were in that. 27 Dresses. I forgot she was just in these movies I've seen. 13 Going on 30, which I mean is a favorite of mine. In fact, that's probably one of my favorite roles of hers. Is she's such a bitch in 13 Going on 30, and it's delightful because that came out when I was still pretty young, so I had just come off of like the high of Jawbreaker, and then here she is again, and I'm like, this woman is fantastic.
Taking another hit of that career.
But I just wanted to share the favored number 1, and it's Halloween Kills, which is again another great.
I haven't seen that one. I've seen all the other ones that you mentioned.
I love a good Jamie Lee Curtis venue.
Me too.
I love,
Me too.
We'll talk about Jamie Lee Curtis at some point because I could have a whole section devoted to her. I love the fact that
we need to do the True Lies episode. That's what we need to do.
That's what we have to have.
I'll do like where she puts her hands in like the water for the plane, like slicks it back, and you could be Arnold.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, I love a good reference. So she, in this version, of which I'm not going to try and explain the Halloween movie. So this sort of jumped the franchise a little bit. This went as if it were a direct sequel to the original Halloween. So she plays. I mean,
I've never seen any of those. I don't watch like scary things.
I also don't like to be scared.
Go ahead, tell your friends.
She plays Laurie Strode's daughter. So I love when she gets to play a role like we've utilized her for so long as like the funny best friend. I kind of like her as like the badass mom. So she obviously like plays the role of a badass mom in it. Laurie Strode has her daughter and then her granddaughter. But I love the fact that we're just recognizing now that Judy Greer was dramatically underutilized. And I hope that it means that we're going to come up with a series of movies we can more overutilize her in roles.
We definitely are. But most importantly, this is how we are going to get her on this show.
Oh, do tell.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye.
See you all next week.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Love you.
Love you.
It's not for you.
Hold on. Babes, we have a special song for you right now, okay? And it is not for you. Oh. But I hope you like it anyway. They say we're dumb and slows our show. We won't get listeners on the radio podcast.
Well, I don't know if all that's true, 'cause you're still here, and babe, it's not for you.
Babe. Not for you, babe. Not for you, babe. They say our show won't pay the rent. We'll talk and we won't see one cent.
I guess that's 'cause we ain't got no pot. At least we have some fireball for a shot.
Where'd you put that fireball, baby? Babe. Not for you, babe. Not for you, babe.
No, not for you is no fling. Not for you is everything.
Oh, yeah.
It's really everything, baby. And when we're back,
Like that last moment.
you can frown. And when it ends, you head out of town.
Don't let them say your segment's too long.
I won't.
It's not for you, and neither is this song.
So mix your silly thoughts with mine, 'cause on this part our intent is benign. Oh, babe. Not for you, babe. Not for you, babe. Not for you, babe. Not for you, babe.
If I could turn back time.
If I could turn back time, I would never podcast, baby.